Christians have long been skeptical of the mainstream media, and for good reason. The motivations behind the reporting and storytelling of major news outlets are often shrouded in bias and a lack of understanding of Christian values. This mistrust is not unfounded, as the mainstream media has consistently demonstrated a lack of fairness and balance in its coverage of Christian issues and events. One of the primary reasons Christians cannot trust the motivations of the mainstream media is the pervasive secularism that permeates these organizations. Many journalists and editors are products of a secular education system that emphasizes a worldview devoid of spiritual values. As a result, they often approach stories involving Christianity with a sense of detachment or even hostility. This can lead to inaccurate or misleading reporting, as well as a lack of context and understanding of the issues at hand. Furthermore, the mainstream media has a long history of promoting a liberal or progressive agenda, which often puts it at odds with Christian values. On issues such as abortion, same-sex marriage, and religious freedom, the media turns to side of those who oppose traditional Christian teachings. This bias is not always overt, but it can be seen in the way stories are framed, the language used, and the sources cited. For example, a story about a Christian business owner who refuses to provide services for a same-sex wedding might be portrayed as an example of discrimination or bigotry, rather than as a matter of conscience or religious freedom. Another reason Christians cannot trust the mainstream media is the lack of diversity in the newsroom. According to a study by the Pew Research Center, only about 5% of journalists in the United States identify as evangelical Christians, despite the fact that evangelicals make up around 25% of the population. This lack of representation can lead to a lack of understanding and empathy for Christian perspectives, as well as a lack of accountability for biased reporting. In addition, the mainstream media has a tendency to sensationalize and exploit Christian stories for the purpose of ratings or clicks. For example, a story about a Christian minister who has fallen into sin or scandal might receive widespread coverage, while a story about a Christian organization doing good works in the community might be ignored. This can create a skewed perception of Christianity and its adherents, perpetuating negative stereotypes and reinforcing the notion that Christians are hypocritical or judgmental. The mainstream media also has a tendency to rely on experts who are hostile to Christianity, such as atheist scholars or liberal theologians. These individuals are often presented as authorities on Christian doctrine or practice, despite the fact that they may have a vested interest in undermining traditional Christian teachings. This can lead to a distorted view of Christianity, as well as a lack of respect for the beliefs and values of Christians. Finally, the rise of social media has created new challenges for Christians in terms of trusting the mainstream media. Social media platforms often amplify the voices of mainstream media outlets, while also creating filter bubbles that reinforce existing biases and prejudices. This can make it difficult for Christians to get a balanced view of the news, as well as to engage in constructive dialogue with those who may disagree with them. In conclusion, Christians have good reason to be skeptical of the mainstream media and its motivations. The secularism, bias, and lack of diversity in the newsroom, combined with the sensationalism and exploitation of Christian stories, all contribute to a lack of trust and confidence in the media. While there are certainly some excellent journalists and media outlets that strive for fairness and balance, the overall trend is one of hostility and disrespect towards Christian values. As a result, Christians must be discerning and critical in their consumption of mainstream media, seeking out alternative sources of news and information that reflect their values and worldview.